Welcome to the Real Estate Investing Club. This is the place everyday real estate investors gather to share their best stories, biggest insights, and favorite tactics to grow a portfolio of cash-flowing properties in today's market. Here's your host, Gabe Peterson.
All right. We are back with another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. Hope you guys are having a great week, great day, wherever you are and wherever you are, however I say that. I hope you guys are having a good time. It's a good day for a second reason because we got Louise Phillips Forbes with us on the show today. She has done over $6 billion in sales with the big B over there in New York City. She is with Brown, Harris, and Stevens, so there's a lot of experience to go into. On the buying side, she likes to go into the multifamily. She started in single family, dabbled in mobile home parks, and now she's into multifamily. So a lot of stuff to go into here, a lot of experience, I think spanning over 20 plus years in the industry. So it should be good. Louise, thanks a lot for hopping on the show.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I told you before we got on here, we always like starting with stories. We like to hear how people got to where they are. So why don't you take us to the beginning of your story? I think I said 20 years, but I think it's even longer than that.
It's 35.
Take us back. Yeah, take us back to the beginning.
39, so it's all good.
There you go.
So, I was born and raised in Nashville, Tennessee. I ended up in New York, coming here to be a dancer. I used to say 10 pounds ago, it might be a few more pounds than that. But I injured my back. I did some off-Broadway stuff. I danced for two small dance companies. And I was bartending when I injured myself. And somebody said, man, you'd be so good in real estate. And she was like, call my friend. And I called her friend and I met him. He's like, you want a job? I called my brother and I was like, I got a job in real estate. And he's like, that's commission only. I was like, oh, no, I didn't. So fast forward, I made $8,400 my first year in real estate. So keep coming back. And I just love it. I mean, I used to think real estate was about brick and mortar, but it's really a business of people. So that's really what makes me tick.
Nice. I like it. So you started out, you were a dancer, you got hurt, and then just kind of fell into real estate. We hear that story, not that same story. Not everybody was a dancer, but that type of story so often on the show where people just kind of stumble into real estate and realize it's the coolest thing in town, and you got to just kind of keep going with it. And so once you started, it sounds like you were just starting on the residential side. Since then, you've done $6 billion in sales. Which is a lot, obviously. And so let's hear about that.
One deal at a time.
How did it progress? So tell me a little bit how the snowball started.
Well, I mean, my Rolodex did not consist of very wealthy people. It was starving artists. So my business was literally built one deal at a time. My first transaction was $63,000. And it's hard to believe that anything in New York City was $63,000.
I was going to say, dang, man, I wonder what that's worth now.
But I, I think what I found was really important for me was kind of how I didn't like thinking of myself as a salesperson for some reason. I really wanted to just be of service, and I wanted to be an educator. And numbers I get, and I also think the piece of real estate, whether you're just an investor, there's an emotional piece that goes with all those things, which I'm really great at that matchmaking and putting that piece of the puzzle together. But I also got sort of referred a piece of business that was a development project in the West Village, which was one of, now today I've done over 35, where I do the marketing for the developers. And so as a developer's broker, you kind of accelerate a business when your name's wrapped around a building and you're doing a $250 or $300 million project. You start to gain momentum and a reputation. And so that has been a way that I was fueled into the residential market, and also a very diverse market. You learn how to, what the people want, but also the construction part of it, the financing part of it. And those pieces helped hone different skills for me.
So you got in contact with developers, and then you sold on the back end. Were these single family or New York City?
Hired my company, myself, me as the individual agent, to do the marketing and the on-site sales.
Okay.
So
What type of product was this? Was this
They
condos,
were
apartments?
22 unit condominiums in the West Village, or ground up in East Village, or conversions of rental buildings to condominiums. I specialized in that. So it was really an amazing opportunity to have a slice of so many different neighborhoods in a very deep dive. And it was really fulfilling.
So if my math is right, you said 35 years. I'm almost 40. I was born in 86. So that means you got started in 1990, essentially.
In 1990, I
Nice.
did.
So that was a while ago. And a lot has changed since 1990. I mean, now we got AI, we got the internet is everywhere, we got social media. From the days when you started, you were, doing those development sales back in the day to now, how has the process of acquiring leads and selling properties, how has that changed?
I would say my business is still probably 90% referral, but attraction of business, I mean, let's be clear. We didn't have these when I was selling real estate. I mean, literally had to go to payphone on the corner. You can't find a payphone in New York City. So it's been an incredible evolution. And, listen, I'm trying to keep up with it. Thank goodness my kids are 20 and 22, and they are very entrepreneurial. And sometimes they're helping me figure out some of this AI stuff. But for me, I welcome the AI. I am not intimidated by it. I welcome it because I think that my clients having access to that data, myself as well, it's the interpretation of that data, which is what's really the texture of the market.
But in terms of like acquiring new clients, selling deals, I mean, it sounds like for the most part, this is still done face to face in your world.
But listen, the components about real estate never change. Preparation, presentation, pricing. They will come. It's like they build it and they will come. But if you're not priced right, your phone is not going to ring. It doesn't matter where it is.
Yeah. I'm obviously I'm on the commercial side. We buy mobile home parks, RV parks, self-storage facilities. And I've found brokers, when it comes to pricing, there are so many different strategies that they use. And I feel like a lot of them are not good. A lot of times people will price really low in order to get a bidding war to start.
Yeah.
And then a lot of times people will price really high so that they anchor high. And then when you lowball them, you're still within a range that they want to get. What do you feel like?
I'm really data driven. I mean, first of all, when you live in a vertical city, like I have the same apartment on the 12th floor, on the 10th floor, on the 3rd floor. It's a little easier, in my opinion, to quantify that than a cul-de-sac lot compared to, a different kind of neighborhood. I just feel like it's a little more scientific when it's vertical. So I feel like I have
because your comps are literally on top of each other.
Yes. So there's a little more of a science, but in a market like today, there is zero science. We have a very different, recovery process from something like COVID. And I personally think New York City is is such a discount at the moment and such an opportunistic market because we didn't have the run that RV business did during COVID, or the trailer park in Montauk where I live, where I have my beach house, where the best surf break is, that skyrocketed, and New York didn't. It's been steady Eddie. And so I think it's a really good opportunity. And I am much more for what is in contract and the relationships that I've built over 35 years of calling you and saying, hey, Gabe, what are you in contract for? I know you started at this number. You dropped it 3 times. You got a contract signed in 3 days. So did that go for the asking price? That's the real time market. And that's how we price.
Okay. That makes sense. It's interesting that you say that you feel like New York is discounted. At least in terms of the people that I speak with, New York as a state is generally a state that people don't want to invest in because of the laws,
Tenants laws.
the rent laws there. Do you
Yep.
feel like, speaking from the investor perspective, is it still, would you suggest somebody invest in New York City? Obviously, if you can get something at a steal, then you're going to buy it. But if you're buying at market, what are the kind of the hurdles that you see people running into when they're investing for an investment property, not for, their single family home?
Well, I think that it depends on so the 1031 opportunities that are out there and people coming into this market. I just think that some of the multifamilies, because of the laws, are super low. And
because of rent caps?
Just because of the way the policies are. I mean, we've had a Fair Act that it just the way the policies are and the political arena. So I have landlords that own $6 billion worth of real estate, multiple buildings. And as their tenants in the last 5 years have passed away, they're not putting their property on the market. They don't get the benefit of the 80-20 for every dollar you invest, you get to raise the rent. That's been paused by our councilman. So a lot of multi-generational families are leaving and investing. Like I have a 5-generation real estate family that has bought 40,000 units across the country in the last 2 years instead of buying here. And that's, but I do think that political, atmospheres will prevail and shift, because that is, I think that's what's going to be needed. I don't know if it's going to happen in the next 4 years, but we'll see.
Interesting. Yeah. So for your own investing, you and your family, you guys have been getting into multifamily. Tell us how that's gone. It sounds like you and your daughter and your son are doing it now. What are you guys looking for?
So I'm married to a serial entrepreneur. He's a tech guy. And we were late bloomers. I had my first child at 42 and my second at 44. And, they inherited a bit of money from my husband's father when he passed away. And I said, you guys want to buy a car, And they were like, I'm not spending money on a car. We're just going to use yours. I'm buying Apple and Tesla. And they bought all the stock to their credit. And it started a conversation between the two of them. Like, I want to own real estate. Why don't we figure out? And so my older son started a premise of really researching like Detroit, Michigan, Nashville, Harlem, Connecticut. And what he had this sort of, it honed what the thesis was, which what he wanted: universities, medical, hospitals, and a high growth coupled with a high rental percentage. So they landed in New Haven, Connecticut. They purchased
with those criteria, he landed in New Haven, Connecticut.
Yale Hospital, Hartford Medical Center.
Okay.
Plus, it's a 74.6% renters community with 3% growth year over year.
Huh. Okay, that makes sense.
So they identified this piece of property, cash on cash. And I'm such a bad partner. I can't even tell you the stats because they are so in charge and large. They have 3 Section 8 tenants, guaranteed fair market, and they will probably have a $20,000 profit for the year. They bought this in April.
Oh, wow. Good for them. And so how many units is it?
It's only 3 units, but my son has figured out how to, get a 4th unit, which hasn't even been calculated. He's just getting bids on it, but it's so fun to, 1, let them run with it, and 2, watch how much they learn. And, people are saying, well, they're following your footsteps. I was like, this is not my footstep, because I didn't have the courage at 20 something to think like this. So it really is great. So I think both my husband and I are really excited about trying to build a portfolio with them. And I just love the mindset.
Yeah. Yeah, that's building something with your kids. I have a 3-year-old daughter, well, almost 3-year-old daughter, and
God
I
bless.
hope, and a son on the way. And so we're excited, and 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line, I hope that we can be doing the same kind of thing. I'm really excited for it. I hope it's something that they want to do. Obviously, that's something that you kind of have to model for them and instill your excitement in them. So I'm hoping that kind of wears off. And when she's 20, 22, 23, she gets to get the bug, the real estate bug, and joins me. So, but we'll see. The verdict's still out.
Take her around, but don't let her see too much of the, the bad stuff, because my kids have learned firsthand what happens when a sewage trap backs up. It's not attractive. And they were
That's
like,
part of it, though.
But it's part of it.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, hey, we are running down the clock. But before we move on, I always like to ask, in the next 1 to 2 years, what does your crystal ball say? What are you guys trying to do in your field?
Well, the reason why I told you before we started, the next 2 to 3 years, I think our family personally, we really want to build a portfolio. And my son has just written a presentation and gone out to friends and family and to raise a fund while he was just interviewing at Stern NYU's business school for a real estate program. I think that we want to support that opportunity. And for myself, I'm going to keep doing what I do, and hopefully my husband's going to sell his company, and then we're going to really be focused on the other businesses with real estate and expanding that.
Nice. I love it. Well, I wish you guys the most success you can get in that endeavor. I'd love to see families getting at it together. And so, it sounds like a lot of fun. With that, I am going to push us on to the quick question round. Are you ready?
Go for it.
Let's do it. Starts with education. It could be any form. It could be a book you've read, a conference you've gone to, a mentorship program you're part of. I just need 2 recommendations, one for general life wisdom and then one for real estate. Hey guys, quick break from the show. If you've listened to this podcast before, you know we are always talking about how important it is to have the right mentors and partners in real estate, which is exactly why I've opened up the Real Estate Investing Club online community. It's a place for active investors to learn, collaborate, and get real deals done together. And right now, it is 100% free to join. We host weekly calls where we review deals, talk strategy, and share tactics. Just click the link in the description below and come join us.
Quantum real estate for the real estate agent from David. Who did I just read? David Harper, I think. I thought that was actually had some great insight. Life. I'm actually reading A Purposeful Life by C.S. Lewis. It's a tough read, but it's an interesting read.
Cool. Yeah, my mom loves C.S. Lewis. What's that one book she likes? Screw Tape Letters, or I think that's what it's called. Yeah. Good author. All right, moving us on to the next question. This is for your younger self. Let's go back to the version of you that was just starting out 35 years ago, back in 1990. Go back to her, look her in the eye, give her one piece of advice moving forward.
Buyers and sellers will come and go, but your people in your industry will be people who will be with you for your life. And that is that generosity of knowledge where you attract those kinds of individuals where you can pick up the phone and say, Gabe, what are you in contract for? That has been the best lesson I learned as my earlier self, and that I would advise myself to focus on.
Nice. I like that. So be transparent with people, develop relationships over time in your industry, because those are the ones that you're going to be growing with. Makes a lot of sense.
And that collaboration is so much better than the competition, because I don't look at my agents or my colleagues as competition. I look at them as an opportunity for collaboration. Yeah.
Anybody that you interact with throughout any deal that you do, you got to remember, even if you're on the opposite sides of the table, you got to remember that, they might sell you a deal in the future. You might buy a deal from them. You never know. So just keep things open, keep things, just see everyone as a friend, and eventually that'll pay out to you in spades. And next question, I'm actually going to skip this. Usually I ask, the United States is a big place and there's a lot of opportunities. So what's your favorite metro to invest in? But you just, well, actually, I'm going to continue to ask that because you did say New Haven earlier, which is not New York City. And I thought you were going to say New York City, but so tell me, the United States, big place, a lot of opportunity. Give me the single metro you're most excited about investing in today.
Well, I have two that I would like to invest in. One, I would like to continue to invest in New Haven because that's a focus that my sons are interested in, and I see the opportunity and the formula and the thesis for it. Secondly, I would like to invest more in Montauk. I'm a surfer. Our whole families are surfers,
Nice.
and we're water people, and I would like more of that.
Nice. Yeah, I've my wife and I, one of our favorite cities that we like to go visit is Charleston, and I've been I keep looking for stuff out there like storage facilities or anything that I can buy as an investment just so we can continue to go out there. I haven't found anything yet, but I like the idea of investing in places that you want to visit just because it makes the investment a lot more fun. So we'll see if that comes to fruition at some point.
I love that.
All right. Next question is about lessons learned. Not every deal we get into goes the way we expect it. In fact, pretty much every time something's going to go wrong, and that's when we get to learn a lesson. So what is a deal that went a little bit sideways for you? And then what was the lesson you pulled from it?
Perseverance. Let's see. I would say that let me just think through. There's so many deals. I mean, I lost a deal earlier, a couple of months ago on a development project it was the crown jewel. It was a $15.9 million deal that was a white box. And, the purchaser had a fully negotiated contract and we were building it out for her. And then they had some health issues and we spent 4 months negotiating that. So as disappointed as I was, what I learned is what we would and wouldn't do. And so the knowledge that I gained on that as I'm approaching the next right purchaser, I wouldn't have known. So I feel that wisdom has armed me to lock and load.
Yeah. Yeah. And another lesson I feel like from that is you just never know what's going to happen during your due diligence period, during a deal. And I mean, you mentioned, somebody got sick. I've had a deal, one of the deals that I was so excited about closing, and I think it was the wife or somebody in his family died. And so the seller was like, you know what, I'm going to keep it. It's too much right now. Obviously we're going to follow up and we don't want to be a nuisance at a time of a difficult process. But the point is when you're going through your due diligence, when you have a deal under contract and you feel like it's going somewhere, don't count your chickens until until the money hits the bank, or until you have that title in hand, because anything can happen.
And I would also, just to add to that, the value. So I took it upon myself to write a really nice note to this woman, was not my client, and sent her some flowers. And I got a phone call from the broker saying that, because I wrote the broker also a similar note, just that how amazing it was. I had never worked with her before, and I've been in the business for a long time. But the knowledge of, and that opportunity of connecting with those people, and the grace of being okay that the deal didn't happen, and being more focused on hoping her to be better, was how I wanted to leave that. Yeah. Right. And that was really about my side of the street.
Yeah. Yeah. And those little acts of kindness and thoughtfulness it'll keep you in their mind going forward. My wife is so much better at that, as sending little notes, sending little presents. And I feel like it's a good touch, both on the human side and on the business side. It's something I need to get a little bit better at, but definitely a good practice.
Keep rubbing off on you. She'll keep rubbing off on you. You got a house full of girls right now, so you can't escape it.
Yeah, and I got no problem with that. All right. That leads us to the very last question. This is for the listeners. You've given us a lot to think about. I'm sure people want to reach out, get in contact with you. This is a two-parter. Where can they find you? And then what can they expect when they reach out?
Louise Phillips Forbes. I'm L Phillips at bhsusa.com, or Instagram is Wheezy, WEZE _says SEZ. And I will be present and collaborate and connect and share whatever I can. And I'll look forward to learn a little bit about you.
Perfect. I will put that link in the show notes. So if y'all want to reach out, all you got to do is click the little more in the description. It'll pull down that full description. And in there, you can find Louise's info.
I love it.
All right. That
When's the
wraps
baby due?
up.
When's the baby due?
The baby is due, surprisingly, the day before our first daughter was born. So May 25th is when the baby is due. And so if they're born on the same day, it's going to be crazy. I don't know how we're going to do that.
You got this. Good luck. God bless.
All right. Yep. For everybody who's with us today, thank you guys for showing up. You are the reason we do this. So if you guys have any questions, reach out to me, Gabe with realestateinvestingclub.com. If you guys want to support the show, just leave us a review, a comment, anything like that. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great week. Keep rocking real estate. And I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.
Thanks, Gabe.
All right. Before I officially sign off, I have a quick announcement to make. If you're interested in becoming a passive investor in one of my deals, my own company, Kaizen Properties, is looking for capital partners for our upcoming projects. We invest in what are known as recession-resistant assets, mainly self-storage facilities, mobile home and RV parks, and industrial properties. If you're interested in investing and would like to learn a little bit more about my company, our investing criteria, and some of the previous projects we've done, go to the Real Estate Investing Club podcast at therealestateinvestingclub.com and scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page. Click on the Invest With Us button. That'll pop up the investor form. Fill that out, and we will reach back out to you as soon as we can. Or if you prefer a little bit more of a personal touch, you can reach out to me at gabe@therealestateinvestingclub.com. So really, that is it. Again, it was a pleasure hanging out with you guys during this episode, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.